modern classrooms. And give you some math games and math talk that you can do with your child over the summer to get started on number sense. So we focus at the beginning of the school year on numbers 0 through 10. So you could begin with just asking your child, how high can you count? When you're driving along in the car, ask your child to go ahead and start counting. Maybe when you're at a red light, how far can you count till the light turns green? Sometimes it's higher than we want it to be. But, and then when you're outside at the park or doing some exercise, maybe you can ask your child to count as they're jumping or hopping or running from one place to the other. So just incorporate lots of counting maybe before they're going to bed, in the bathtub, so they are learning how to count by their rote memory. And go ahead and count with them. It's always fun to put CDs on with math songs and count 1, 2, buckle your shoe. You can still enjoy that chant together. Okay, and then another idea that you could do is to make some cards 0 through 10 and cut these cards out on index cards. And then you could ask your child, once they're comfortable counting 0 through 10, can you start counting with a different number and hold it up? Maybe the number 3, can you count on from 3? Lots of children like to start counting from 1. They feel like they have to go back before they can continue on, so that would be fun to do. And then they can, after you make the cards 0 through 10, they can sequence them, put them in order. You could play a game where you flash, okay, can you show me how to read this number 3 out of order, or read the number 10 out of order. Okay, something else we work on is number value. So using the number cards once again, if you can get out some pennies or some means, we want the children to realize that 10, what does 10 mean, and put 10 beans or 10 pennies out, and they actually are touching as they're counting to you. And something else that you could do for number value is take a card and ask, okay, what comes before 4, what number comes after 4, and also is the number greater than or less than when you're comparing two numbers, and to understand what equal means. So if you're making two groups, can you make them equal? Maybe you have a group of 4 pennies and a group of 6 pennies. What do you need to do to make them equal too? So using a lot of math language in your math talk. Okay, moving on. Another thing that you could be doing is they could be, as you get numbers higher than 5, we start to use a 10 frame. So they actually can see a group of 5, and then they count on what are the extras. And so eventually it's a faster way to count up to 7 instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4. They can see 5, 6, 7 and actually see it. You can take cups and they can drop beans or pennies into a cup. Let's say you're counting 2, so they hear 1, 2 as it drops in. And 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they actually can hear it, see it, touch it. That's what we want for math, that hands-on. All right, and then we move on into the teen numbers, and we also use a fast 10 in the teen numbers, and we show that 15 is made up of one group of 10 plus 5 extras. 16 would be made up of one group of 10 plus 6 extras. So wherever you can use math talk, during summertime, that would be fantastic, and just make it fun and make a game out of things, because that's the way kids learn best. And we also focus a lot on problem solving. So if you're at the grocery store, you might want to ask your child, gee, okay, can you go, if you're in the produce section, can you get me a cluster of 6 bananas? What if I take 2 more bananas? Now how many do I have? Can you count how many bananas we're going to put in the cart? Or take some apples, and maybe you have 4 bags of an apple, and you can ask your child, gee, how can we make this 6 apples? Can you drop in 2 more? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or working on subtraction, what happens if I take one of the apples out? Now I have 5 in my bag. And just making kids aware numbers are all around us. Can you find some numbers as you're driving along in the car? Maybe looking at the speed limit signs. And Also, another area where you can do some math talk is if you're cooking over the summer, maybe you're baking some cookies, you can ask your child, can you put 5 cookies in a row on the baking sheet before we click them, and then count by 5s, 10, 15. How many cookies are we going to be baking? So practice counting by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, counting by 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, as high as they can go. So I hope I've shown you some fun ways to explore math this summer with your child. And one of the major concepts of Common Core Math is working on critical thinking and higher level thinking skills. So thank you for taking this math journey with us.